Do you know what the main issue is? The main issue is that sometimes we use our hands to hang ourselves. And the reason is that, a lot of us have gotten quite religious with things. There's almost anyone who did not know anyone who was involved in some of fasting in the first month of the year, January. But in spite of all of that fastings and prayings, are we really sure that we're majoring on the major things, or we're actually majoring on the minor things? I'll make you understand what I mean. A lot of people in Nigeria, the religious people, are praying for a better government, a new Nigeria, this, and that. But do you really understand what it means to have a new nation? Do you think it's just about passion? Do you think it's just about prayers? Do you think it's just about God coming down and solving all your problems? I don't think it works that way. And for the examples of the nations we already have that had a new nation, it didn't really work that way. And so it might actually be time for us to check that we're not quite emotional or sentimental about this new nation thing. And so by meditation, I was taken back to Israel, ancient Israel, and many of them prayed for a new nation. And then after about 400 or 430 years, God sent Moses to them as a deliverer. And Moses did his part, at least. He took them out of Egypt. And even while he took them out of Egypt, there were murmurings, complaints, this and that. The culture of the old nation was still in there. And these are people who have prayed for a new nation. Remember, it's their prayers that actually made God to send the deliverer, Moses. But they still have an issue with their orientation, with their minds, that prevented them from really accessing the new nation. Let me shock you. Many of the people who prayed that God should send a deliverer to them did not enter the promised land. Many of them died in the wilderness. Why? Because their mind, their mentality could not take them in. And I see the same thing happening with Nigeria today. We have issues with fuel scarcity, new note scarcity, food prices are on the high. But a lot of people pay attention to these things. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that these things aren't affecting people or making life difficult. But if you are really going to the new nation, there is a price to be paid. You don't just stroll into a new nation. For the Israelites, they had to fight because there were people who were already in that land. And because they were not ready and able to fight at the time they left Egypt, what could have taken them about 14 days, as some people said, took them 40 years. Now, don't we think as Nigerians who are praying for a new nation, we're about to make the same mistake? Many of us think that the next election is actually going to be like a magic waving of a magic wand and everything is going to be utopian and heavenly. No. If that is your reality, if that is your expectation, you are deluded and you need to snap out of that delusion. Before a nation can be born, everything is not just spiritual. There is structure, there is leadership, there is policy, there is culture shaping, there is media, there is education, re-education. And you don't have all of those things on ground and you're thinking of a new nation. No, it doesn't happen that way. There must be unity of the faith, unity of the tribe, unity of the people. Do you see all these things happening? And we're clamoring for a new nation. Evidently, a lot of people have this slave mentality where they just believe that there will be a Messiah coming. And so anyone that seems like someone who is different will latch onto that person, believing that that person is the Messiah that will take us out of the old Nigeria. And we are putting so much pressure on those innocent people that it's the problem we're supposed to solve that we're pushing onto other people to solve. The point is this. Many of us, if we do not change how we see this idea of a new nation, we will not see it, we will not enter into it. Because it will be a pattern. If our mind does not accept or reinvent and restructure to understanding the rudiments of a new nation, the price everyone would have to pay. A lot of people want to have a new nation without paying a price. Nothing great comes with no cost. And we need to understand that fact. And that's why our approach to politics, to governance, to social media, to a new nation has to change. And so I really do hope that I have people who are not just, passionate about the new nation, but understand the reality of what it takes to birth a new nation and the price we will have to pay if we really want to see this nation. And so one of the favorite quotes in the scriptures that's always come to me, which I posit to everyone, is that indeed, are you the one who is to come, or should we wait for another? That is the question you would use your life in Nigeria, your life in this time, to answer. Now, it doesn't happen if you're physically in the country or you're somewhere in the diaspora, outside. As long as you have the blood of the Nigerian spirit running in you, there is something you need to do to make the country better. You have to lend the support. Stop murmuring. Stop complaining. Step back from all of that distraction and deception and find out, how can we really solve this problem? And when we find out how to solve this problem, can we commit to actually choose to solve this problem? That's the message I have for anyone who is thinking or pondering or believes that they have a passion, or they've seen prophecies or seen revelation, or God has told them about the new nation, the new Nigeria. It's not just about prayers, friends. It's about work. It's about intentionality. It's about resources. It's about the heart. It's about sweat and blood. And this is the price we all have to pay. And so once again, you really have to ask yourself the hard question. It's not just about the election. Imagine the election doesn't go the way you hope. Imagine the man you hope to win doesn't win. Doesn't mean that the hope of the new Nigeria is dashed. No, it shouldn't be. A system is always greater than a man. One of the things I've always advocated, and that's why I'm not really I support this person, I support this person. No, I support a system that works. When we put more intention towards a system that works, that system will always produce a man or a woman that will work. That's the answer. And so we're looking at it the wrong way. We're thinking a man can save us. No, it's a system, an institution that can save us. And so I really want us to think about it and say, do you really have what it takes to birth this new nation? Or are we living in a delusion and the madness of people who are just, I don't know the words to use, who just want something without hoping to pay the price for it? Life doesn't work that way. And so this is my heart cry to people, and I really hope that someone connects with this and they will go back to the drawing board and find out, what can we really do? Have we been living a mediocre expectation for the last 60 years, hoping someone will save us, complaining every 4 years? Things can change today. And it takes people who are designers. It takes people who are culture shapers. It takes people who invest in governance to come together and know that this must work. I must completely dot the I's and cross the T's. And it's until we are able to do this that nation can actually be born, and that our generation will actually see that nation. This is a precipital point, and we must not miss it. We must get it right. We must be willing to sacrifice ourselves for the greater good. It doesn't mean sacrificing yourself to die, but sacrificing your time, your energy, your resources, your strategy, your ego for the greater good. And if we have people who are willing and committed to do this, then this message is for you. You can birth that new nation, because there are many people who have the same heart, and it's just for heart to connect to heart, and we'll see that those who are for us are actually more than those who are against us. This is my message to everyone who is passionate about a new nation. There is work to be done, and I wish you all the best and Godspeed on your search and journey to the new nation. and something really struck, and it was one of the things that he said. I'm supposed to say that. All right, so I've got a piece of advice for people, and